We are live, baby, live. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio, NCAA Net Profit. It is Wednesday, March 23rd. Max, the eve of the Sweet 16. Unbelievable weekend. Always a fun time. Well, the first week is I think the best, but this is always great. And I can't wait for those games. We could touch on them a little bit today too, if you want to talk a little bit of them. We'll get through them tomorrow. Each one, definitely how we're looking inside and out. I think we could go over each game about 10 minutes or so, and each one would be perfect, and kind of break down from every angle. And good ones tomorrow, Max. But we do have games today, and some good ones. One starting right now. I wanted to get your opinion. I went with Wilmington with the 5. I know Middle Tennessee State it seemed like when I was looking today, a lot of people like Middle Tennessee State. They have a great defense, and that was kind of the difference. And that could be the difference here. But just I feel a little magic with Wilmington here, Max. I thought there was just too many points at 5. So I took them. They got to play decent defense, which I think they will. And they're a team that hasn't got blown out, in a while. The Towson game, I remember it vividly about, a month ago? Maybe longer. That's the last time they got their ass kicked. So hopefully even if they don't win, I think they stay in tight with this one. I took a little bit money line, but I am on the 5 points in that one. That total dropped 4 points, but hit me with it real quick. It just started. What'd you like? Wilmington, Middle Tennessee State, if you want to get anyone live here with that.
Yeah, I think that Wilmington is already off to a slow start. It's a 5-2 start for Middle Tennessee, and I think that where I looked at Wilmington as having their advantage in this matchup was being able to score points in the paint. That is what Wilmington really needs to do. You're long, you're athletic, you can really take those freaking opportunities, and when they score in the paint, that is when they win games. I think that they're winning this game straight up. I think that Middle Tennessee, they played fantastic second half yesterday, much to my dismay. But when you look at how this team in Wilmington comes back from teams, doesn't need to utilize bench scoring, and how effective they are at scoring points in the paint, you do those things, I think that you win this game outright today.
Yeah, Sims has got to be big. A little Sims on Sims here in this one, Max. So I think if he plays big and scores 20, and they've been able to hit big threes and big shots when it mattered. But Middle Tennessee, the only thing is I thought, they have a little bit better defense that could get them in the end. But too many points for me. I just thought I'm going to go one more time and roll the dice. But by the way, Max, both teams have been good for us all year. To a lot of people, if you've been on Middle Tennessee or Wilmington most of the season, they have worked out great. So we just got a few games. There wasn't too much line movement. Usually I'd throw it to you with that, Max, but we haven't had much. Youngstown went up, Fresno game a little bit. But for the most part, that's it. Let's get to these games real quick. And then maybe we could touch on some of the games for tomorrow, just real fast, whatever we want to talk about, because we will be on tomorrow and go through those a little more in-depth final analysis about those. But first, Max, before we get to this Wake Forest Texas A&M game, we got to hit up the chat real quick. Hit the like button. I know we're on short. Shows aren't long. We just got a few games in IT, but we want to come on here, talk about what we like, what we don't like, what's going on, give you guys the information. Thanks for joining us. James Little, James Mounts, what's up? Melissa Miller, great to see you. Haven't seen Melissa in a while. Shout out to Melissa. Nilo, what up, what up? Spelled the name right. Third time's a charm, my guy. No doubt. Eric, how's it going? G. Martinez, Holly Walnuts, Trevor, Nunya, TCATL, thanks for joining us here today. All right, Max, let's get into these good basketball games. Wake Forest, Texas A&M. A&M open 2.5-point favorite. It's basically stayed there for all day. It's 2.5 across the board everywhere. This total opened 146. It dipped as low as 144.5. Now it's back to 145. Basically everywhere we're 145.5. I had it written down. I think the line's pretty sharp on the total here, Max, but 16 straight games I wrote down where Wake had 68 points or more, and A&M, still the better defensive team, I think, had scored a lot more under Buzz Williams. He's, more of a defensive-minded coach. 7 out of 10 games, they scored 70 more points or more in those. Obviously, the Oregon game stayed under. They have a little better defense. What do you like here? Both teams good against the spread. Both teams good against the number first half. But what do you like here? Wake Forest, Texas A&M. Hit me with it, my man.
Well, I think that Texas A&M at this number has been very good to their backers. I think that they've been in this point range 3 times. They've cashed all 3 times. Now, my issue with Texas A&M is going to be when you watch their last game, which was, I guess, 11 a.m. local time for that game, that building was bumping. It was like a goddamn rave, all right? So when you could see Aggie Nation getting up and back in their program after really getting the freaking kick in the ass when it comes to being in this tournament to begin with, I think that Texas A&M holds all the cards. Listen, this is a group that, like you said, have been able to find their offense more so with Buzz Williams at the helm than we've saw before. Obviously, that must coincide with Marcus Williams not being in the lineup, but Henry Coleman and what he's been able to do offensively and on the glass has been great. This is a guy that you remember was told by Coach K he wasn't good enough to play at Duke. Well, he's proved that he's good enough to be an Aggie and a impactful one at that. I think you need Tyrese Radford's 3-point shooting in order to win this game, and you need the 6th man on the court, which is the crowd. So I think that Texas A&M wants that trip to Madison Square Gardens. Wake Forest is standing in their way. Conor, Wake Forest, they're no slouch themselves. They got slighted in a way also. You got the coach of the year of the ACC in Steve Forbes, who came over from East Tennessee State. You have freaking Damari Montesanto coming back, giving Steve Forbes, a guy who came over from ETSU, to also freaking provide some scoring and some 3-point touch. I think at the end of the day, with Alondas Williams, the safest way to ever bet a Wake Forest game is to bet his points, rebounds, and assists over and bet his points over. I don't think Wake Forest is winning this game. I think their NIT trip is coming to an end. And I think that Texas A&M at home has shown that this is a significant home court, and it may be worth more than the 2.5 points.
Yeah, real interesting here. As much as I liked Wake, and obviously, I think the Forbes hire was good. They've gotten better the last few years. Little bit not the same on the road, Max, this Demon Deacons team. And you talked about how good Texas A&M has been at home, 15-4. You mentioned it. Williams has got to be big for Wake. Plenty of shooters, get up and down. Like I said, I don't think there's just a ton of value, but at 145, if you got a 144.5, to me, I think this gets over. As long as the shooting's fine. I know Aggie's at home a little bit better defensively, and that could just keep this under. And there's a lot of money, big money on this under. But and obviously it could be tight because they want a trip to New York, like you're talking about. But I could only look over, and I've been looking at it all day long. That's my only play here. When I keep going back to these, this isn't the same A&M team offensively. They've been able to score, pretty much at will. It's just, can Wake get enough? And I think they will. And Wake isn't great defensively. So the 2.5's close. On the side, I'm going to stay off, but I lean heavy on this total over, and I'm probably going to have a bet on it here. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Isaiah Scurry, what's going on? Lance LaRose, good to see you. Trevor, what's up in here? Nuke Worker, my guy, what's going down? Todd Clinton, yep. Fred Durst, I'm up in here every day. Heavy 08, good to see you, my man. Nunya, Sam, I am. Fred Durst, I'm rolling. Tori, Banana Boat Float, up in here. T-Mac, what up, my guy? Good to see T-Mac up in here. Hope you're going. I wonder what he likes. A lot of people like Wake Forest. I think this could be a great basketball game, Max, and I think it's going to be. And we'll see if we see points. Hey, last night, it started out bad, but shots dropped in that Vandy game, very tight. Got there and it got over, so I was happy
I
about that.
I was drinking watermelon vodka shooters, and
Mm.
I don't remember much else.
Well, they covered very close there. They lost by 2, and it just got over as some threes just rained there midway in the second half, which worked out great. So I was happy about it. I think that could happen here. Even though this money on the under, I don't care at this point. Who gives a shit? All right, let's get to the next one, Max. Another great game here. This one, the other one, Washington State, BYU. BYU opened at 3-point favorites, dropped a full point, twos everywhere. I see twos basically at almost every single book across the board. Bookmakers hanging at 2.5. This total open at 143. It's 142. Basically everywhere too. There's a few 142.5s, 143s. It hasn't moved. Um, to me, it's a big sign. I like the under here a little bit on this total. I think BYU at home has played. They've looked really good so far. I lean that way, but I'd look out with this Cougars team. They're just very streaky shooting the basketball. But let me know, what's your opinion here on this game? Wazoo, Washington State versus BYU.
I love Wazoo's youth. I think that when you have a brilliant tactician like Kyle Smith at the helm coaching this team, it just makes a big difference for a place that's really hard to recruit to. So when you get Mo Gee back, who gives you a legitimate 5-man in the middle that's going to deter shots, he's going to freaking help with the double teams on guards. He's going to produce defensively and he's going to produce offensively. That's a big addition to this lineup. It helps with the size going up against BYU and how much depth they have. But I look at guys like TJ Bamba and Effie Abogidi as guys that gotta keep on producing these double-digit box scores. And all season, we've seen Wazoo really rely on Mike Flowers and Tyrell Roberts' three-point shooting, but when they get these types of complementary scoring efforts from other guys on this roster, it just makes such a big difference. And going on the road into a pretty heavy environment, I don't think that there's going to be a lot of seats available, and I don't think that the Mormons have had sex in 3 months, so they're definitely chomping at the bits. I think that at the end of the day, you have a very simple defensive plan. You have enough size to throw at Traore to keep him off the freaking score sheet. And with his knee, I don't even know how much or how effective he is if he goes tonight to begin with. You do have to deal with guys like Caleb Lohner and Gideon George, but Alex Barcelo is the only competent scorer in the backcourt, in my opinion. No offense to Tajon Lucas. I think that you stop him, you stop BYU. So I look for Washington State to pull the outright upset, and I think that it's going to have to stay under in order for them to be able to do that.
That's my next point. I was going to get into. Even BYU, even though they've scored a lot of points, seems like lately, I think it's kind of the teams they've been, but they've been very good at home. That's one spot BYU has been excellent at. But Washington State, very slow pace and a little bit underestimated, Max. Talked about defensively. You know, this team, 45th scoring defense. I think they're 65th field goal defense. BYU was pretty good all year too. Not the normal BYU team that kind of would lean a little bit over. I think this total's a little bit too high. I think they're going off what's going on lately. I think the pace, as long as Washington State slows that down, if you think they're going to be in it, which they can, we will see how BYU. It seems like BYU is clicking right now at the right time, but I lean under here. I think this total is just a bit too high for a Washington State game, unless Washington State is so streaky, like I talked about with the three ball. When they played to some overs, 70s, 80s, when they've hit shots consistently all night long. But when they're not hitting from three, because they take a lot of them, it can be cold, and these games will stay in the 60s. And that's where I see this one. I see it tight. I think this total is too high. I'd only look the under here. Short number though, if you like BYU at home, and maybe not. You say BYU, these Mormons not having sex. Maybe they're having too much, especially unprotected. They like to have lots of children. I've been there plenty of times, just in Utah. So, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I like the reproduction angle of it, but I think that when we look at it, these are two good 3-point defensive teams that are going to take away what has really fueled a lot of these totals, especially for BYU. When you're putting up 25 to 30 3-point shot attempts in a game, I sort of think that you're in blowout situations and you're just not willing to put it on the floor and take it to the rim. You're settling for those threes.
Yeah. If I get a 143, I look under. I'll bear them, to shoot well, obviously, and BYU's been scoring. But I think that's more been the opponents lately. I think Washington State slows this down, a slower pace. They don't want to go up and down with BYU at all. So I lean under in that one. Think it's too high in that range of 143. All right, Max, let's get to this last one. When we get to this last one, let's go ahead and touch on some of the games tomorrow. We will hit them kind of like our final, analysis, more depth, and maybe what we're going to be betting on tomorrow. But if you want to, we could go through some of the games tomorrow. I'm sure some of the chat wants to talk about it as well. But let's get to the last one here. Youngstown State, Fresno State. Fresno State's laying 13 here. It opened at 14. It's dropped to 13. This total opened at 130. It's gone up to 132.5. Some spots 133. And basically all those 133s are kind of gone now. It's all settled in at 132.5. There's a few 132s. What do you like here? Youngstown State, Fresno State.
This isn't my favorite game on the board because it's just a bad style matchup. If Youngstown can hit some early 3-point shots to open up Fresno's defense, it really can put them ahead of the 8 ball. But with Fresno and what I've seen consistently, first half after first half after first half, it just doesn't look good for Youngstown. I think that even if Youngstown manages to get to 30, what are they going to be down by at halftime? 5 or more points? Definitely seems that way. So I think that this is a spot where I want to take Fresno first half and then evaluate from there. But it's not a spot that I have a strong edge or a strong number to rely on for.
Yeah, I do know Youngstown's, just like I talked about, been so bad on the road. Max, the numbers are pretty ugly. And Fresno's definitely way better than them. They're just not the blowout type team, kind of like Virginia. I like laying these numbers with a team that's so like this. I know the totals went up, but I could only look under. I think that defense clamps down a little bit. And if you get a 133, even if this is in the 60s, I know that Eastern Washington game went over, and I split on it because I had the points and the under. But for the most part, I think they stay in it. I don't know how Youngstown scores more than maybe 60 in this one or more. So unless Fresno's just given the Olay defense, I think they play hard here. They're at home, and this thing can stay under. I disagree now that especially it's moved up almost 3 points on the total. I lean under. And I think the points are pretty valuable here. I just can Youngstown hit shots? You mentioned that, Max, in the very beginning. They kind of get discouraged if they're hitting shots. They seem to be better, but they seem to do that at home a lot. The more on the road, and they can get flat and lose. But a lot of points, almost 15. 14 here. You need Fresno to cover this number. I'd lean the points, and I already like the under in that one. Let's give a shout out to the chat here real quick, Max, to everyone in here. Hit the like button if you haven't. Real Deal Prime, there he is, the grinder, selling heat pumps all across Canada, I'm sure, always. The Taint, I guess, is Youngstown State, plus 13, I believe. So Taint likes there. Matty Ice likes the points in that one. Brad Hunt, what's going down? Shout out to everyone in here. Hit the mother like button. We got 90 in here almost. We only got 33 likes. Weak. Top set. What's going on, my guy? Nice to see you. All right, Max, let's touch into some of these games where we're here for just a minute. We'll get into them tomorrow, but let's get right to Arkansas Gonzaga. Gonzaga now 9.5 point favorites. His total's 155. We've seen Gonzaga a little bit asleep at the wheel. First two games come out second half. Timmy was big. Nemhard, they got to be big here. Arkansas, bad scoring drought. Obviously, New Mexico State, solid defense. I'm going to ask you, is this too many points? I think Arkansas can hang around, but I'm a little bit worried if they have that problem, Gonzaga could pull away late and cover this number. But I'm going to wait and wait. I don't know if it gets to 10, but I lean Arkansas right now with the points early. Total is 155. What do you like here?
I think that the value to me with this game lies with the total. I think that it's been very difficult for the odds makers to be correct on a Gonzaga total. And by my numbers, they've only been right 2 out of 10 times in the last 10 games. So I think that whatever total we have right now is either going to be too short or too too high. Simply put, I think 155. If they're saying 155 and this game goes over, I'm taking 160 on the alt totals. That's simply put. That's just the only way I can play it. I think that Gonzaga has to get off to a better start. We've seen them play with fire, and we've seen what happens to teams in conference tournaments when they play with fire for a round or two. Then they play an opponent that can beat them and that won't let them back into the game. Gonzaga's got some maturing to do right now, and it starts with the guards. I don't really fault anything that Timmy or Chet Holmgren have done. Holmgren may not be putting up 25 points, but he's doing a lot of things that don't show up on the score sheet. His help defense, his rim defense is good. His deterrence of drivers, because they know that he will freaking get a block on it. And he's a guy that blocks shots, keeps them in bounds, gets into his teammates, and turns them into points. So I worry about Gonzaga's backcourt being able to do their part. However, with the odds makers' inability to post a winning line when it comes to the total, I'm looking at the alt total.
Yeah, the other night it got there, and Gonzaga, has still defensive problems, and they should score. Arkansas, I still think, not amazing defensively. Should get in the 80s. I agree with you. It's high at 155, but I'd only lean over in there. Isaiah Scurry says, here you go, Max, a record 30 Canadian-born players in this year's NCAA tournament. You want a little golf clap for that?
It's a fucking beautiful thing. It's a fucking beautiful thing. I actually have the list in one of my tabs here. I was just smiling about how my country is literally a hoops factory, and it's beautiful to fucking watch it, especially at this time of year. So,
boom, excellent. I love to hear it. Thanks for that stat there, Isaiah, with letting us know. All right, Max, let's get to the next one. Michigan, 11 seed, gets into the tournament, has played well. Hunter Dickinson, obviously. I think Brooks has been the guy, though, Max, in these first two. The shots he's made, if he keeps playing like this, Michigan can be in it. Obviously, I like Nova. Ohio State got cold, and Nova can put a game away. Best free throw shooting team in the country, 83%. And that's what I'm leery here. I just worry if I take Michigan and these points, they're going to disappoint. Because in the end, I had Villanova getting past them, past this in this bracket. So do they cover? That's the big question. What do you think of this total? Nova obviously plays pretty good defense, but a little bit undersized down below. Can Michigan take advantage of that? And seems like a little bit low of a total for Michigan at 135. What do you like here, Michigan Nova?
My issue with the total, Connor, is that what I found is Michigan's defense has gotten better as games have gone on. That isn't really something that you can say for a lot of tournament teams, including Villanova. Villanova's defense is better early than it is late. Teams are making solid adjustments against them. But like you just said, if you pull an Ohio State and you have a 4-minute drought in the last 10 minutes of the second half, you're going to be fucking choking fucking your own chicken in an alley. It's just what it is. Let's not also forget that Michigan's scoring production goes up by 8 points compared from the first half to the second half. That's a significant jump, and that's a difference maker right there. Ordinarily, I would be saying to you, Connor, I want Michigan second half, but Nova is a good second half team in their own right also.
It's
So
true.
it's a dangerous game both ways. I got to look into it more.
Me too. I mean, I've already looked into it, but I got to dig. It is dangerous. Perfect number here at 5. Tough one. Like I said, I still think Nova advances here. I know I'm going to catch shit from a lot of our guys. Big Show, our producer. I have a feeling I went full raw here with Michigan. Say they're going to win. I could, be the kiss of death.
Are they going to be at that game?
Yes. Yes, okay. Tomorrow. They will be at the game tomorrow. So, yeah. And the total, like I said, I think it could get over. Nova's been tough, though. Even like I said, they might be a little undersized. They still play pretty solid defense. And, yeah, Michigan can't go on a drought like that. Nova will put you away. In the end, I think they win the game. It's just covering that 5-point number, I think, which is set perfectly. The odds makers know what they're doing. Let's get to this next one here, Axe, real quick. We'll get to these next couple and get out of here, and we'll get even more into tomorrow. Texas Tech Duke. Tech's 1-point favorite. This total's 137. Obviously, for Tech, it might be a little bit of a high total, but for Duke, this is low. And if Duke keeps playing the defense the way they do, Tech will score on them, and I think this gets over the total. The game should be good. I think Tech's a little bit better in the end. But what do you like here, Texas Tech Duke?
Alternate total alert. If you like the under, sell 4 points. If you like the over, I would sell 6 points. That's how much I like selling points on this game in particular. I think that with positionless basketball gives a lot of opportunities to run off of rebounds, run off of turnovers. And if Texas Tech wants to take advantage and really put Duke at a disadvantage, that would be the thing to do. They're going to plan and game plan and practice for Texas Tech to slow it down, to really be physical with them inside, to bring good double teams and rotate that help defense. But if you go fast and you get McCullough going, and we've seen how hot he can get, Texas Tech could be giving Duke problems early. I think that Mark Adams will have them play their normal style. I think Duke will get off to a good start.
Yeah, we'll see. How much love is going to be for Coach K. The end. I hope there's no ref type stuff.
I hope that there is, and I'm on the right side of it.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying. I think Tech's a better team. When it comes down to it. And the reason why, basically a pick 'em, is their defense. Even if Duke got past this game, Max, they're not winning at all. Not with that defense they have. They will go down. I think they do here. I like Texas Tech. Shout out to my guy, Isaiah Scurry, with the 10-07 dono. Man, Big Show's here. We hit the dono train. We will owe you a dono train hit tomorrow. We'll make sure we toot the horn. And get it done for you tomorrow, my man. But shout out for the dono. We appreciate it. Your Post Sports Radio. All this shit helps. It keeps us rolling here. Thanks so much, Isaiah. Shout out to you, my guy, for that.
Shout out to Isaiah. Fucking with his eyes open. The
all
local
day, all
ladies
night.
of the night love him.
You ask and you shall receive. There he is. Dono training it up. Boom. Every time I hear it, pumps me the up. All right, Max. Let's get to this. Let's get to this last one to touch on. And like we said, we're going to get into these further. But just wanted to give a quick, because the show is short, get into a quick talk here of these games. Houston, Arizona. This is in San Antonio as well. This is game 2 there. A little bit double barrel action here. Houston, Arizona. Arizona is now 1.5-point favorites, Max. This total is 145.5. I love TCU the other night, and man, what a game that was. And Arizona was on life alert. You know, he one of those fallen I can't get up buttons. Beep, but Matt, he hit the three. They got the tie. They get to OT. They win it. And sometimes there's always a team that wins a championship. They usually have a game like that, Max. But I like this Arizona team. I still didn't think this team's going to win at all. I think Houston can give them trouble. Obviously, Houston isn't a deep team. That worried me as the tournament goes on further. But scrappy, and I like them here. What do you like, real quick? Houston, Arizona, total 145.5.
If you haven't watched or don't know who Jamal Sheed is, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. The assist leader in the nation is going to have something to say about Arizona walking all over them. And even though my fellow Canadian from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Benedict Mathurin, is on the floor for the Arizona side and coming off a 30-point game against TCU, he's ready to fuck all the local strippers. And if you better fucking stay out of his goddamn way. I think it's going to be a brilliant matchup. I think that this is the one team that can beat Arizona. And if Arizona doesn't lose to Houston, they're winning the national championship, in my opinion.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow, bold statement. Bold. By Maxwell Smart. Got a little fresh haircut there, huh?
Yes. I had a meeting with a person who removed hair from my head in a clean, effective way. That's what I'm expecting from these basketball teams tonight.
I like it. All right. You know what? I'm going to go have someone cleanly, effectively do that to my hair later today. Oh, I've never heard anyone say that. Okay. I love it. This guy is nuts. But that is Maxwell Smart. Great breakdown. We were going to get into these games further tomorrow and talk about them a little bit more and get into kind of finally what we will bet on here, side and total in these ones. And shout out to our guys. Now I wish I almost got there Thursday, but I was going to get there till the afternoon. I probably might not have got to the game, blah, blah, blah. No one needs to hear about this bullshit. But that's it. But big show's here. Let's hit the sponsors of the commercial, and we'll be right back with our best bet. Boom, baby. If you're in the San Antonio area, head to Southtown 101. Man, it looks great in there. Shout out to my guy, Schnizzle. I saw him. I saw the video of him on the karaoke machine, killing it last night. I can't wait to be there in a few days. The setup looks sick. You know, my bookie. Go there, deposit $1,000, do the Bitcoin. They'll match you with $1,000. And lastly, go to manscaped.com, 20% off promo code Pub Sports. We got our guy Nicky Fish Tanks in the chat as he says it has a flashlight. You can use it in the woods. Why you would need it, but who knows out there? But I guess to keep everything shaved and you got a light. You can use it in the shower, all that good stuff. Manscaped.com, promo code Pub Sports. Get it, got it, good. Shout out to everyone here one last time, Max, before we get here. Jake Burns, Melissa Miller, good to have you in here. I haven't seen you in a long time. Elliot V, Nilo, T-Mac, Nicky Fish Tanks. Shout out to everyone in here. Nasty Nate, Ninja 13, Rodney Barton, everyone up in here. The Dono from Isaiah, Ryan. Thanks, my guy, for being up in here. All right, Max, AJN, what's up, my dude? Good to see you up in here. All right, Max. Give me, what are you betting here tonight? Let's snap this. Let's get the snap. Can we snap it?
I
Snap
don't
into a
even
Slim Jim?
fucking know. I don't
Tonight.
even fucking know anymore. Listen, I'm gonna take the under in the BYU game, under 142. Listen, I
Oh,
think
took
that
my
when
bet.
it comes
Okay.
down to it, BYU size against Washington State size is going to play a big factor. And I do think that Washington State's erratic scoring offense will continue to take nights off, this being the one, the only one I care about. So pray for me, but if you're smart, fade me.
It's gonna work because I was gonna use Max, and you know what? There's 143, so give you 143 because we can get
I
you
will be
that, and
betting
we got him out
143.
there, and it's gonna win. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be broken, Macho Man style. We need Sharpie in here for a little Macho Man.
I'll tell you,
Yeah.
Connor, I will be going to Club Pro where dress code is in effect. They have multiple screens and beautiful ladies that will have their titties out. So I'm excited for the night. I wish I was allowed into the United States of America to come to Pubapalooza. There'd be all kinds of funny things that happened, and I just have to go to the strip club that allows me in and allows me to behave the way I behave, which is crazy.
Couldn't say it any better. There he is, Maxwell Smart. Shout out to everyone. Mr. D, how's it going? Prince of the City, what's up? Bill McHugh, good to see you, my dude. What's up? Shout out to everyone here. Hit Lance the Roast, what's going on, my guy? Hit the like button on the way out for us. That's what I liked, Max, that under in that basketball game. So I'm going to go Wake Forest A&M then. I'm taking the over 145. There was 144 and a half, but I think now everyone at least can get a 145. A&M's defense is a little bit better at home, but I think Wake Forest defense isn't great. They're scoring here. It's the lone over I liked. I know there's money on the under here. I don't give a shit. Give me the over 145 here. And that is it for us here. Net profit. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back tomorrow. There could be a different host, or the show might be quick. I have something to do tomorrow afternoon, but we'll at least be here about 30, 35 minutes. And if not, maybe Babano. I don't know what his deal is. I will get a hold of him, but we will be here tomorrow. No problems asked. So anything else, Max, from the chat before we get out of here?
Yeah, listen, just have a good time to whoever's going or already in San Antonio. Enjoy being around a whole bunch of guys that cap and think the same way as you. And if you're not going, just drink a little, smoke a little more, and sleep a little more. That's all. It'll be over soon.
Well said. There he is. We're out of here. Great work, Max. We will see you tomorrow. We're out of here. He's a great Maxwell Start. I'm Conor Mack. We're out of here. We be pumping! Peace!